Videos and Voices of the Unheard. We are 2V Stream, a global youth media initiative. And you're keeping it ugly with me, Joe Ugly, and author activist Gaylord Salters. As we discuss his recent book entitled Mama Bear, The Heartbreaking Struggles, Risks, and Results for Raising Black Boys in Urban America. My man, welcome. How are you?
What's going on?
I'm keeping it ugly. You got to come right on into that mic so we can hear you loud and clear. How's
What's
that?
going on? What's going on?
You
I'm
got
all
it,
right.
man. I met this brother last summer as we had a rally, protest rally, in regards to a young man who was injured while being transported by the local PD, New Haven Police, in case you're not in the area, just highlighting that. Met this brother, man. He came up. You were like on point with your activism. You own a publishing company. What's that? Go Get It Publishing.
Yeah.
You wrote a book. Well, you wrote many books.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 of them published.
3 books published. And I guess the question I have to ask is, when do you find the time, when to write a book?
I mean, I was incarcerated at that time.
No, I'm talking about you came out in July of 2022, correct?
Yeah.
But you had a book drop right away.
So
You wrote while you were in.
while I was in there,
Uh-huh.
I started writing.
Mhm.
So I had a 50-year sentence, 50 years suspended after 29 years.
Mm.
So I started writing to be. I wanted a way to be able to take care of my family, and my brother and childhood friends had a serious thing going on where they weren't going to come out of prison alive. But
Mm.
I myself may have not came out of prison alive, and I needed to build a foundation for my children to have something just in case that did happen. And I started writing, and then I realized how hard it was to get published.
Right.
So
That's always the big challenge, getting the product to
yeah,
market.
getting the product to market,
Right.
getting it produced,
Right.
period.
Uh-huh.
So after I realized how hard it was, then I took a step back, started studying the industry from a publisher's point of view
Mhm.
versus a writer trying to get published.
Okay.
And then I realized that I had to start my own company.
Oh, okay.
So I saved up my prison checks.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Stacked
Okay.
them up, got that good job in the industry, stacked them up, and that's how I started the company.
How long did it take you to do that?
Oh man, it took me like
You gotta get close to that mic.
it
This
took-
is too
it-
good of a story not to be
it
told.
took me probably more than 18 months to stack up the bread.
Oh,
More
okay.
than 18 months to stack up the bread.
But you were determined.
I definitely was determined. because
Focus.
I wasn't going to sit in prison and just not do nothing with my life, my
Right.
legacy, knowing that I had children out here.
Right.
So
So you were wrongfully incarcerated. Let's start there. Right.
yeah, wrongfully incarcerated. That's
Okay.
that.
So you were wrongfully incarcerated. You're sitting in prison. You have kids out here. You got a wife who's also here with you. Big ups to her.
Yeah.
Strong support. And here you are sitting in jail, and you are saying to yourself, "I have to do something for my family."
Mm-hmm.
Some people tend to think that people go to jail and they don't even think of anything but themselves. You were thinking on all of this, and you stopped working on a publishing company while incarcerated.
Yeah.
And on top of it, you also wrote a book.
Mhm.
This is the book that you just released, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And you released it through your publishing company.
Yep. Mama
So-
Bear.
Okay, Mama Bear. And the subtitle is really interesting. I really love that. It's thank you, sir. The subtitle, it is The Heartbreaking Struggles, Risks, and Results for Raising Black Boys in Urban America. Now, was that based on your story?
It was based on my story and everything. So when you see the book, it says the heartbreaking struggle, risk, and results of raising minority youth
Mhm.
in urban America.
Mhm.
And I had kind of changed.
Oh,
it a
Minority
little bit.
Youth. That
Yeah.
was the original.
Yeah. The
Okay.
original was Black Boys, but I had changed it a little bit because I didn't want to put us in a box as if it was only Black boys. But we know
Right.
Black boys are an endangered species in America.
Thank you, sir. Yes, you
Love
are
that.
absolutely right.
All right.
You are absolutely right.
And we know
Mhm.
more than anybody else, it is the Black woman who goes to war for that boy to make sure that he is brought up to full potential. But
Absolutely right.
when the deck is stacked against you,
Hmm.
you get the results that we get.
Right. When you were wrongfully incarcerated, you're sitting there. Was there a time when you said to yourself, where you felt like giving up? You felt you just had that beat down thing, you were where you felt like this system is stacked against me. And if you did have that, how did you overcome it? If you didn't have it, what made you did not have that?
I mean, I definitely had it
Oh,
because it's
okay.
depressing
Hmm.
wanting to go home and continuously dreaming and then waking up in that place. Some
Oh,
dreams you think you're about to
wow.
wake up home. Those are the
Mm.
worst dreams
Mm.
ever.
Is that right?
But it was just to overcome all that stuff was hectic because I knew I had people who depended on me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And depended on me being productive in
Hmm.
order to change things.
Hmm.
And those people, like I would say, my children
Hmm.
and my childhood friends and my brother at
Hmm.
that time. Because, like I say, their life, I would have been coming home after 29 years if I would have made it. But theirs were it.
Yeah.
They was meant to die in prison.
Hmm.
So that motivated me, but nothing motivates me like my children.
All
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Okay.
So
Okay.
when I go through those days, like you talk about, depressed and just feeling beat down,
Hmm.
the energy that I created from the time that I came through that door, knowing what I wanted to do for my family,
Hmm.
is what upholds me. And I feel that energy when I step out of my cell because the books that I write, I
Hmm.
need critics. So I pass them around
Hmm.
to different
Right.
inmates
Right.
and let them know. So he might have one book and he got a few chapters at a time. And it might be a day that I'm feeling like that. But he like, yo, I need send me the other chapters. Send me the other chapters.
Right. Right.
And that boosts me up.
Right.
So
Right.
it let me know that I'm on to something.
Right. Right.
So when you have that self confidence, you continue to push forward.
Hmm.
And when you continue to push forward,
Hmm.
you produce.
Something. Some people will never understand what it's like. You hear the mama bear. You even have it in the title, and we all know. Mama bear comes out when you mess with their cubs.
Yeah.
There's also Papa Bear syndromes as well.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people are not aware of it. Like you're over here, you're telling the story about how you knew you had kids and this is what you're doing it for, and there was no failure going on. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna let you get away with something one on one. Do it in front of my kids. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Okay.
Listen, I got you on that.
You know what I'm
I got
saying?
you on
I
that.
get the Papa Bear. You ain't never gonna. I'll give you a little illustration. It's nothing as in depth as yours, but it has its own depth. I played racquetball. I was vicious at it. And my other son, his brother, was at the gym with me. And he was in the other court. And he's trying to play his game. He was too young. He really couldn't play, but he was there because he was there. It was a day off from school. He had to go with me. We did that. So, excuse me. I was playing against a regional champ in this area. Regional. And my son came because there's a big glass wall in the back of the court. And my son came to it and he sat on the bench outside and he goes, "Who's winning?" He mouthed that through the glass. Now I look, I pointed to him. He goes, he's like, "Nah, if he's beating my dad, it can't be that much. What's I go, 9-1 him. And the disappointed look on that kid's face. My man, Lord, let me tell you something. We walked out of that court. He walked over. I said, "This is my son." He goes, "Oh." He said, "Oh, your daddy really put it in on me today." I beat him 15-10. He made 1 point after him. I saw my son.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You can do whatever you want to, but you ain't beating me in front of my kid.
I had a feeling something like that was going to happen in this story.
You are not. So I understand, as I said this. And, first of all, being wrongfully incarcerated, are you going to be financially compensated for this, or are you?
So currently, my case is in the hands of the chief state's attorney's office for them to do their own review.
Mhm.
So around the country, you have what are called conviction integrity review units,
Mhm.
and they are put in place to rectify wrongful convictions. So what it is if your case has claims that you got to be through the roof valid on these claims in order for them to take your case and say that they're going to review it to exonerate you, right? So,
But you're there right now.
I'm there right
now. Okay.
Okay. So the case is just ridiculous. Everything that's going on in it. But
do you want to go ahead?
While I'm waiting on them, I'm also not going to hinge my success in being exonerated on the same folks who have
incarcerated you.
Yes.
Wrongfully.
Yes.
Full disclosure, you want a quiet boy. Life goes on. All right? You want the shepherd of the street. Well, yeah, you were the shepherd of the streets. I'll give you credit. You had a name ringing out here. What was it that brought you to the streets? We all have circumstances. If you don't want to talk on it, that's good. But good.
Yeah.
I just think it's, the only reason why I ask you this is because right now there's a young man. But by the way, let me just be very clear. We're not trying to glorify any positions of the streets or whatever it is. What we're trying to do here is to help young men, especially young black men, understand the pitfalls and what might look nice and rosy as an exit from whatever circumstance could actually be something real. I'll let you continue.
Yeah. But me in particular, as my mother, she was a single mother of 4 children, and her income didn't last enough
to support
to
the family.
fulfill the whole household.
Right.
So we will fall short, and you'll see those things where you fall short on. Everybody can't get new sneakers or designer. You can forget about it. You ain't getting no designer sneakers.
And we're talking sneakers, but then there's a point of food.
Yeah.
So everything.
The basics.
The
food,
basics.
Shelter, clothing, and for her to be doing that by herself, that's a serious thing, right? So I couldn't wait to turn 14. So that I can go on ahead and get me this summer job. Now, I've been thinking about this thing for some years because prior to what me and my brother did was we shoveled snow. In the wintertime, that was good. We get our money out. And then,
I clearly understand. I have one of those companies.
Yeah. Okay. So after we shoveled the snow, and then we realized that, how we're going to get money. It's over. The snow is gone.
Right.
So we soon figured it out. Well, now we got to mow grass. So we go around the neighborhoods and all the good parts and ask them to mow the grass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's how we would supplement our income. That's how we gonna get those extra meals.
Right.
That's how it's gonna happen. Right. And then
I just to interrupt, didn't mean to interrupt, but just to interject. If not for the grace of God, there goes I. That's exactly my story. Shoveling snow. I never forget the first time I saw snow. I came from Trinidad. I was 12 years old when I first saw snow.
Oh, yeah. So it was freaky.
So it was crazy. But and then my mom said, well, now we got to move it. What do you mean move it? But you got to take it off the walkway and the sidewalk. So, yes. Okay. And then the neighbor saw what I did and he said, you want to do mine? And I look up back into the porch and my mom is like, well, she said, I said, how much? 12 years old. I said, how much?
Made a deal real quick.
Yeah. He goes, well, I could give you 15. I said, I'll do it for 20. And he said, okay.
Nice negotiator.
That was quick. My mom just looked at me and she goes, good. And that's how I started that little gig.
Can I just add on that climate change is taking away this business?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, all right. I know we addressed that. All right, go on with the story.
It's January. I'm out here in the track.
That's what I'm saying. But go on your story.
Yes.
That thing right there, though, you see, that awakes something in a child at an early age.
At an early age.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So when you
Mhm.
have the Caucasian folks, and no disrespect, just people, period.
It's not about
But
disrespect. It's
more,
the
more,
truth. Go ahead. Go for it,
more,
bro.
more than anything, their children are already set by that time that you
Mhm.
already have the direction,
Mhm.
and things are a little bit better
Mhm.
than it is
Mhm.
with us, right?
Mhm.
So when we come in at this age and we get a little taste of a service,
Uh-huh.
you know what I'm saying,
Right.
providing a service
Right.
for income,
Right.
then we realize something, right?
Right.
Yep.
So while we got these hardships around us in
Mhm.
every household in our neighborhoods,
Have them.
I grew up in public housing, right?
Mhm.
And then, lo and behold, cocaine used to be an expensive drug. We know
Mhm.
that. So when Reagan gets into office,
Mhm.
all right,
Mhm.
this is when Nixon's war on drugs
Kicks in.
goes crazy,
Yep.
and Reagan picks up.
Mhm.
And First Lady, you know,
Mhm. Just say no.
yeah. So we
Yeah.
go through that. But anyway,
Mhm.
that's what is being sold in the media and in the public.
Mhm.
But in all reality,
Mhm.
our neighborhoods are getting flooded with it. All
Because
right?
we don't have no poppy fields in Harlem. Isn't
That's
that what
right.
Wesley Snipes said that in
Yeah.
New Jack City? He was one of the best lines ever.
Yeah, and it's the truth.
And
So,
it's the truth.
so they flooded the neighborhoods, and I'm not even going I'm not pawning responsibility on anybody else,
Right.
not just yet.
No,
But anyway, I'm
but you're
just sticking
speaking facts.
to the story. So
Yeah.
they flood the neighborhoods. Now
Mhm.
that excess is gonna come to
Mhm.
that little 10-year-old fella.
Right.
He's seeing it through the older guys,
Mhm.
15 to 16,
Mhm.
Benzes and Jules and crazy. So I'm seeing that. By the time I reach 14 to get that job,
The streets were calling.
the streets already got me.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying? I already had a taste.
Uh-huh.
Product. This is I'm providing the product, you're
Mhm.
providing this money, and I know it's going like that. I
Mhm.
see everybody in my neighborhood doing it.
Mhm.
It becomes a norm, even though I
Mhm.
know it is shunned upon amongst police, but police are shunned upon amongst my community because we don't trust you. So
Right.
what do you expect? Where do you think a young kid is gonna end up?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
think he's gonna end up hustling and following the direction of individuals who are playing this unofficial role of a father,
Mhm. Mhm.
whether you wanna admit it or not?
Mhm.
It's my father figures.
Right.
And so many of our father figures,
Mhm.
the streets.
Right.
That time, my mother is busting her hump, going to work
Mhm.
to provide for her family, to get right.
Mhm.
In those hours that she's gone, Pops is not around,
Mhm.
and
The
I'm
streets is there.
gravitating towards the other guys,
Right.
the other male figures.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that right there, that's my entry to the game. That's how I
Mhm.
got in.
You know, and the reason why I highlight that once again, not to glorify the streets, not to glorify what happened, but people think that, oh, they hear the stories about not enough income and all of that stuff, but even there's more depth to that.
Oh yeah.
You highlighted, the Reagan following through on Nixon's war on drugs. Look, our community has been a target. It's been a target for the longest. I work diligently every single day. I work diligently to try to uplift young black men, young black people in particular, people of color, but mainly my focus is on young black people, to help them elevate themselves in different ways than what is pushed out here. Because I'm fully aware of the stuff that comes our way. Dude, look, what are we, nuts? We know what the heck that damn drug deal was all about. What the whole drug flooding was all about back in the 80s. Now you hear all types of stories about it.
Yep.
Now you see all kinds of documentary.
Yeah.
But back then, if you had any sense to see that the last time a gun factory was in New Haven was when Chester was here, and nobody was using no damn long range shotgun to solve problems in the 80s.
Yep.
Now you have, like you said, a young man like yourself at 14 trying to get, and I'm not making any excuses here. I'm just looking at this, and I just often say, I'm 60 now, and I can look back and I can say, look, if not for the grace of God, there goes I.
Mm.
There, and I'm never gonna stop saying that. I lived around this stuff with my friends, sidewalk pharmaceutical sales, and that's what I call it. But
Mm-hmm.
look,
Mm-hmm.
but if not for the grace of God, I could have a record. My life could have been messed up. My whole world could have been totally. I could have been this. Your story could have been easily be my story. When I say easily, I mean easily. One of the things that pushed me in a different direction was I went in the army. It played a significant role in my life.
It usually does.
No, not all the time, because I was curious in the army, meaning that I wanted more than just being Hut 234. When I often tell people I was stationed in Germany, I lived in Europe. I went all over that damn place. So it was more than just, and they encourage it. But a lot of people don't leave the barracks. So yeah. So therefore they have a bad view on the military at that point. And then they do other things that put them right back in bad circumstances. But my curiosity, I want to talk more about you.
All right.
The book, Mama Bear. Elaborate on it for me.
All right. So just to bring you up to speed with what came first. First, before I had got convicted,
Mm-hmm.
I had exited the game and I was doing good, and I had started a company, Rise and Shine Records, with my partner.
Okay.
Darkest.
Yeah.
So we did our thing, had all kinds of posters and
Uh-huh.
everything, and we.
This was in the 90s.
In the 90s, in
Yeah.
the late 90s.
Late 90s, yeah.
No, it was over because they had kept. It got to the point where we was getting set up like it was nothing we could do. There was nothing we could do, and I got a job, turned legit, and really was grinding it out to make this record label happen. And as it started happening with Darkest's first single, we got shut down and started getting traction, and then they called on the trial because of that. But long story short, all my friends had got convicted, and I got convicted. The name of the record company was Rise and Shine Records, and it had a community-based mission: rise from the negative and shine on the positive.
Okay.
And that's, rise above the streets and shine on the things that help get us out of the streets, like music. So, and then when I got convicted, the first company was Rise and Shine Publishing, because I was upset. I got convicted. I was about to be doing good. I was on my way. Y'all did this to me, and they did us all dirty.
How old were you at the time?
At that time, I was like 26.
Wow.
At that time, I was 26.
Wow. That's my son's age.
You're my age at that point.
I still am 26.
There you go.
I picked up right where I left off.
Yeah, age a bit, bro.
A little more mature, but
there you go.
27 now that I had this birthday.
There you go.
There you go.
But honestly, so I was upset. I started Rise and Shine Publishing as a spinoff from Rise and Shine Records.
Okay.
And then I began to get more business savvy with it and understanding the publishing industry more. And then
this is why you were incarcerated.
While I'm incarcerated.
Brother, you have a brain on you. You have an approach. I'm going to tell you that. Man, oh my God. I don't listen. We're just touching the surface of it. I can tell you that right now. You have some things that can be great above and beyond. It's just on you now. Because when I tell you, man, I like I said earlier, for myself, I don't know where I would be right now had I been in your position. I don't know. And this story right here, you're in front of me. We're having this conversation right here, man. I'm in awe by how far you have elevated yourself from whatever situation. I commend you for it.
Thank you.
Let no one take that away from you either, man.
I won't.
Continue. You were talking about your book.
Yeah,
I'm just in awe, man. In the sense that I look at what you're doing, your company, your publishing company, and this, and the fact that you didn't just get incarcerated and decide to sit down and just take it. You decide to do something about it, and you decided to do it to expand your whole horizons. Kudos to you. Continue.
Yes, indeed. So, dropped the first book, Money, Murder, and Drug Flow, on that.
What was that about?
Money, Murder, and Drug Flow was a novel, just a straight gangster novel.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But the people was going crazy because they was thinking that I wrote a book about my life and I published it, but it was just straight entertainment.
Okay.
And that was
which was really crazy. I mean, anyway, I'm quite sure they were trying to judge you when you were up for when all the wrongfully accused or something. Did they try to use that book against you?
Nah, they didn't try to use the book.
Oh, okay.
Nah, they didn't try to use it against me. As I'm going up now I got to look out for them.
Right.
People will try to find anything.
Exactly.
But so I did the Rise and Shine. I had pivot as I learned more about the industry. Then I was in the cell with my brother. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He knew that this was what I was doing. This was what it's going to be. And at that time, that was the first time that I realized my mother's position. And that's why I wrote Mama Bear, because Money, Murder, and Drug Flow was a lot going on, and I always been connected to the church. So they wanted to buy the book, and my mother like, yeah, they can't buy that book. They can't read that book. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when it came to that time when I was in the cell with my brother, 2010, and we just had the conversation. Mind you, we both wrongfully convicted by the same corrupt prosecutor, James G. Clark. You know what I'm saying? And we in the cell, and I'm just saying, like, it's hard for my mother out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She's going through all this, and she got both of us in here with crazy time. And it's just a rough thing.
So this was your blood brother?
This is my blood brother.
Wow.
Johnny,
in the same cell with you?
Johnny Johnson. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So
wrongfully convicted, both of you.
Both of us.
So they arrested both of you at the same time?
No, different cases.
Wow.
Different cases. Like it's like you would imagine. Oh, you both got arrested. Nah, different cases. But this is what they allowed this prosecutor to do down here, James Clark. But it wasn't just him alone. It was a band of prosecutors in that state's attorney's office. And you're gonna hear more about it because it's gonna keep coming out. But anyway, yeah. So we both in there and then just talking about her hardships and everything that she had to go through. And usually you don't see other people as victims. You know what I'm saying? You might be in prison for doing something to somebody and you think just that person is a victim, which, yeah, we have to respect that. That's a victim. But your family is also a victim of the things that you do. And I wrote the book to awake young black men in that sense so that you can see what you are doing and you can see your mother's aspect. And she also sees what they're going through out there and the way that we roll. So the book is meant to bond mother, son, family, and have those conversations. You know what I'm saying? Because it shows both sides of the spectrum.
Wow. So is your mother still around?
Yes, she is.
She read your book?
Yeah, she read it.
What did she say?
She loved it. She loved it. She just
get in detail.
I don't want to spoil too much.
No, no. Give me a little something. Did you call her and say, "Mom, I got this book. I want you to read"?
No. I organized that nice and pretty.
Oh, you did?
Organized that nice and pretty. So we're waiting for the book to be produced and everything. The company go get it publishing. I'm the inside, I'm the brain, but it's my daughter, Gaylord Salters, who was on the outside executing.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I tell you, when I look and I find out that this is your son, love it.
Yeah.
Right? Love it. To have your child.
Right.
The color of our skin is what makes it. This is a norm to other people.
Yeah. Right. You're right.
They have their children. They open these doors for their children to thrive. And that's how their brand continues.
Right.
For forever.
Right.
And we got to be more concerned with that.
Right.
But I just say that because I do love that dynamic, and I know how it is.
I'm telling you, it's so ridiculous. He's practically dressing like me now. It's crazy.
He taking your
It's
style.
scary.
It's
It's
like
scary.
Jesus, you know?
Just wake up and you're both walking outside like, oh man,
No,
I didn't plan this.
no, I swear to God, you don't even have to plan it.
Nah,
I'm like,
conscious now.
you know,
It just happened.
yeah, if he stays on the space over there, he stays at my house. I'm like, all right, what you wearing today, man?
Yeah,
That's what you need to get it straight ahead of time.
Yeah, I need to get it straight. What are you wearing today, man? Because we ain't gonna walk around the street looking like no damn twin, Bubsy twins. No, go ahead.
Yeah.
So you told your mom, and you set up a nice.
So now that we have it, because I'm getting people who know that I got this book coming out. 94.3 J Kemp.
Just say a name, man.
Forget
Let me
it.
drop it.
My bad. I'm getting interviews from inside.
there you
All
go.
right.
All right.
There you go.
So we had an interview that we had to get done, and my baby girl had to be there. We had to get the interview done ahead of time so that I can give my mother the book for Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So
That's Christmas of 21.
Christmas of no, this is Christmas of 18.
Oh, okay.
What is it? Yeah, Christmas of 18,
Okay.
18, 17, going into 18. But so I mailed the book, had it wrapped up, mailed it to her. And then once it got to the house, I had them hide it. And then I called.
Man, this guy was doing more maneuvers on
I
this
know.
side.
I know. He was like all over the place. Like, don't mess with this.
Go ahead.
Call my lady, man, my baby, man. What's up, ma? Got a little present for you. Then had them hand it to her. So she opened the book on live, Facebook Live, while I'm talking through the phone.
Oh.
And it got real emotional. And
Right,
she it's videos on Facebook. You can
That's
see
what's
it.
up. Let me ask, your brother, is he still in or is he out? What's the deal?
So sadly, and this is something that's crazy because my daughter just was telling me the other day about like how my books, sometimes things just seem to come true or but it happens like that because this is our life. And I'm saying that because I lost my brother.
My condolences.
I recently lost my brother, just over a year ago.
Sorry to hear that, bro.
So
Really.
and that's why this
My
fight
condolences
is
to you. So
extra serious.
okay, so this is your mission is definitely to also rep your brother.
Because not just to rep my brother, but my mother. Because again, look at what my mother has.
Now, was he
lived
older
through.
or younger?
He's younger.
Oh.
Two of her sons, her youngest son, lost 17 years of her life to being set up. The case wasn't a mistake. It was law enforcement setting us up. So
was he in or was he out when you lost him? Did he already?
I was in. He had came. So I told you we were in the cell together. That was 2010, and I'm getting everything right. Fast forward to 2013, the corruption coming from the New Haven State's Attorney's Office and the New Haven Police Department from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s started to come to a point where they couldn't hide it no more. So these cases started getting reversed, and the court decisions in these cases were ugly. It showed how deep-rooted the corruption was between these two organizations. So he ended up getting...
Wow, little news to me.
So many different facets to this story.
Yeah, go ahead.
He ended up getting exonerated in 2013. He went home.
Okay.
And what happened was 3 years later, they got compensated.
Oh, okay. He was with Darkest as well.
The childhood friends that I was telling you about.
Right.
Everything, so they got compensated. And it was a $16.8 million compensation, and the state had never seen anything like that. So their response, one, the claims commissioner was out after making that decision. You'll see that he's no longer here. And then two, everything got political for me because now my case is up and I'm in the same position of getting exonerated as them, the same stage as appeal of my habeas. It's the same type of claims, but it's political. The state just got scraped for $16.8 million, and here I am, same claims, same prosecutor, same detectives. It got really, really nasty. And to be quite frank, I think I got done wrong. in the courts because of that.
Mm.
So that's when I started
Wait a
organizing.
minute. Was that your brother in North Carolina?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Now it
Right.
makes now, now,
Now,
now
now
it's
it comes
adding up.
together.
Okay. Oh man, definitely my
Yeah.
condolences. Man. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
But you know.
Oh, so you know Dana?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
look, you start
Yeah.
bringing his
Yeah,
height
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know Dana.
Dana's the
Yeah, that's
man.
my
Dana's
guy.
the
That's
man.
my
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
Shout out to Dana
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
But,
Go ahead.
So you have and listen, this is what makes it crazy because I'm dealing with all of this stuff.
Mhm.
I'm managing. I'm not even talking about the death of my brother. I'm just talking about managing, fighting my case,
Mhm.
and trying to be a provider for my family, trying
Right.
to build a foundation, something that they can carry on
Mhm.
and benefit from, something that'll give them a fighting chance, right?
Mhm.
So I'm steadfast in my ways when it comes to that.
Mhm.
But when I'm going back to the book stuff now. After we dropped Mama Bear, 3 months after I dropped Mama Bear,
Mhm.
remember I told you how hard it was to get published, the commercial publishers and
Right.
all that. 3 months after, a commercial publisher wrote me in jail. A commercial publisher wrote me in jail looking to do a deal for Mama Bear.
And did you
Great.
follow up on it?
Great. It was too early. It
Right.
was too early. They wouldn't, like what you're saying right now,
Mhm.
me, visionary, and these things,
Mhm.
they wouldn't have been able to see that and give me the compensation that I deserve
Oh, okay.
because it was too early.
Right.
But as I keep moving and doing what I'm doing now,
Mhm.
that's a deal it's an independent deal that I
Mhm.
can close on my own.
Oh, okay.
But you always have to show that you are an asset, that you
Right.
are an investment that
Right.
the investor is going to get a return on.
Correct.
And I don't never want to shortchange myself.
Awesome. I hear your story. You've been through a lot, a hell of a lot. You're out here. Please tell me, you got a therapist?
I'm honestly with you, man. I'm
Mhm.
about to go check somebody out.
Good move.
I'm gonna go check somebody.
Good
out.
move. And the reason why I tell you that is that, and I say this to a lot of my people, we go through a lot of PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a way of saying, suck it up. Keep it going. You're bigger than a therapist. But in all reality, we have to get what it is off our chest. Just like anyone else, just like any other community. Any other community, therapy is needed. Look, I asked someone recently, this is a leader in our community, I asked, do you got a therapist? And they say, why would you ask me that? I'm like, well, why not? Like, well, that's a personal question. You're a leader in our community. You have to start making sure people know you have a therapist if you have one. Because how else are we going to remove that stigma? You told me if you had a heart surgeon, you told me, as a matter of fact, you told me about your primary care and I made it mine. Okay? So if that's the case, if you could tell me about a primary care, a heart surgeon, a lung, ear, throat, nose surgeon, why can't you tell me about a therapist? It's all medical.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, we have to move that stigma in our community. Have to move it. Remove it. It must. Because we have a lot of PTSD. And we cannot keep carrying all of this for ourselves. If you need someone, I could definitely recommend someone for you. I'm telling you, go straight up. Don't wait till I did. I waited till I had a crisis in my life at 56 before I decided I need therapy. And I can tell you right now, at that time, it was real hard. 4 years ago, it was hard as hell to find a therapist, especially a black therapist. And I'll tell you, to me, that was highly important to me because I'm trying to get my life fixed and I'm a black man. I'm not saying that a white person cannot understand or have sympathy or empathy for what I'm going through. But I don't think they have the experience. I know they don't have the experience of a black man.
Yeah.
They don't have the experience of driving down the street where all your paperwork and everything is correct, but because you're in a certain vehicle, you might get pulled over.
Just because the color of your
just
skin.
because of color. Period. They don't have that experience of walking into a store and immediately looked upon as a criminal. They don't have the experience of walking into a boardroom and someone look at your white assistant as the person versus you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that experience of all of our. How's my mic? Is it good? They don't have the experience of all of the stereotypes that is thrown on a black man. They don't have that experience, and that's what makes the difference. So it was very important for me to have a black therapist,
Yeah.
and I think to anyone, I'm not saying that's the only thing that you should have, but maybe if you're in a crisis, get therapy. I don't care who you get it from,
Yeah.
and if you don't wait till you hit the wall, because you could always change, but don't look. You don't want to slam against that wall.
I know. I think about it. I think about it all the time, like because that's a conversation that we're having now. Like one thing I tell you, boy, one thing I think Donald Trump for is we have a lot more conversations now than we would have
Yeah,
ever
because
had
he's a
before.
nutbag that needed therapy. That's what we need.
Yeah.
He's a nutbag that needs therapy. So of
I
course,
just think about that because we have conversations that we wouldn't have had unless he was in office. But with this particular thing, in recent years, we've been having conversation about therapy in the black community, right?
right. And look, the conversations were there, but they weren't heavily expanded on. You know what I'm saying? We were always. We always feel like we super people. No wonder why these damn cops think that they could beat us down like we super strong strength. Just because I'm a human being just like you. And just as much as my skin could break, so could my mental capacity.
Yeah, that's true.
And I would say to anyone, I say it on these mics all the time, therapy is a necessity. And I hear your story. You lost your brother. That's PTSD. You were incarcerated wrongfully. That's PTSD. You're going through all types of stuff right now, brother. I could probably run off a list just based on reading the stuff that you went through on the stuff you went through on online. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The stories that I could read. And I could tell you right now, you have PTSD. Post-traumatic stress syndrome is nothing to play with.
Yeah. It is. It is. Like I tell you, I think of it. That's why when you mention it, I'm like, I've been thinking because it's always a thing with trust.
I started this.
With trust. You understand what I'm saying?
You see, exactly, because this is what we go through. We don't, even for the one thing, we don't want people to know our business because we don't trust what they're going to do with it. But you see, the reason why it's probably better to talk to a therapist than to talk with your boys about it is because your therapist is bound by law to keep that a secret.
Yeah.
He messes around. Not only can you man, he's bounded by law.
Yeah.
So he can't betray his oath. He or she can't betray that oath at all. Look, therapy is such a necessity in our community, and I want to keep repeating it.
It is.
It is. Because, look, we go through too much to be carrying this burden on our own. Too much. We go through too much, and we just keep piling it on.
And listen, you are so right. And when you say these things, like you really have to identify when you say this burden.
Mm-hmm.
Because this burden is so huge in so many different aspects of this burden. Just being black. Just being black. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You don't
exactly.
People have PTSD just because of the color of your skin.
Yep.
Because the color of your skin has entered you into a realm where you're constantly being scrutinized.
Right.
You know,
constantly.
No matter how much money you have.
Exactly.
No matter what your position is.
Right.
Your skin is black.
Look, I wasn't. Just went through some legal stuff, and a lawyer was like, "Oh, be happy with the money. What is that? It's like, if they had to worry about the money versus the reputation, they'll take the money. I'm like, are you nuts? You know how many wealthy black men go through some nasty stuff because of their reputation being tarnished?
Mm-hmm.
I want this war.
Yeah.
Oh no, we what? No, don't tell me anything like that. I want the war because I'm going to fight. What I'm doing is not just for myself. I'm doing it for every other black man that follow me. Don't ever find your message. Look, that's not new in me. Everybody knows that. If you know me at all, you know I'm that dog in the fight.
Mm.
I am that dog in the fight. I just find different ways to fight.
Kamikaze Joe.
Yeah, I would be. I just find different ways to do the fight. But I just would say to you, my brother, you've been through a lot.
Mm.
You're home right now, and I would strongly suggest seek therapy.
Yeah.
I would strongly suggest it because you have to do it for your kids. You have to do it for your wife. You have to do it for your family. All the stuff that you wrote your book and all the other stuff for, this is just one of the other ring in the ladder. I remember meeting you for the first time. I remember meeting you at the rally.
Yeah.
For
Randy Cox.
For the Randy Cox. You really think you didn't go through PTSD from that? I did.
Listen,
too.
I did.
I know that the PTSD and it's serious because I know my wife like looking right now because she sees how I just push things off like the young man in Memphis.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
She's watching everything.
I watched that.
She's upset. And
George Floyd,
Breonna
Taylor, Kyle Nichols, Kyrie Nichols. The list is long.
Very long.
The list is long, all the way back to Rodney King for me.
Yeah.
And before Emmett Till. There's just so much. The list is long. So do I go through PTSD when I think of this stuff? Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be scared to say that. Oh yeah, what are you crazy?
It's crazy as a young black man. Like I didn't have peers that I lost, but seeing my peers lose people and seeing them on the shirt, seeing them look like me, I'm like, death is always creeping behind my back, whether I'm somewhere safe, allegedly safe, and that creates such pressures of itself.
We can't take things lightly.
Nah,
we can't.
If it's anything that we get out of this interview, brother, I hope you walk away with that one.
Yeah, that one, it hits home because, like I said, with my wife, she's watching the situation with the young man in Memphis, and my way of dealing with it is not to deal with it at my own speed. So I'm gonna catch bits and pieces because remember, I just was in there for 20 years.
Yep.
I spent 20 years in prison watching all of it, absorbing it. I grew while I was in there. I grew through programs like CPTV, and they got those good programs, especially coming around Black History Month, and they don't. It's not biased. Like they show you the wicked stuff that's going on, right? So I've been seeing all of this, absorbing all of this, and then when I get home, I'm looking for happiness.
And now you're experiencing that. You're finding it on different levels now.
Yeah, but I just can't find. I mean, I got happiness, but it always hurts me to see these type of things take place because it is a contradiction of my personal mission in life, which is to be proactive and increasing the probability of success for my family, my career, and my community.
Brother, let me tell you something. I spoke with you behind the scenes as well, and I can tell you right now, you have a lot to bring to the community.
So much.
A lot of positive stuff to bring to the community. Like you started off at 10 years old, shoveling snow, and then flipping to cutting grass. That's someone who started off on the right path. Okay, that's still no different than a young white kid who started off with a paper route and worked his way on up to be one of the wealthiest men in the country. I'm talking about Warren Buffett. We could talk about all of these things, how things, you could have the same ride had you,
Mhm.
because you're ambitious, obviously. You have drive, you have motivation, but then you got all this baggage that's running around too. So we gotta listen. We gotta understand that it's like coming back from going somewhere. Taking off from going somewhere. I don't want to use the word vacation in this state, in this instance, but it's like going somewhere and you come back. You gotta unpack your baggage.
Yeah.
You can't.
You're right about that.
You gotta unpack your baggage. So I would suggest you do so.
Yeah. Yeah. You're talking about as far as the therapy.
Yes.
And that is, listen, that's on the table. It's something that I have to do. But like I say, and I hate to say but,
Mhm.
because it needs to be done.
Mhm.
There's a problem that raises a barrier between black men
Mhm.
and the outside. Because as soon as you say therapy, the average black person only sees a white person on the other side of them. That's
Mhm.
the first thing you see
Right.
in your mind.
Correct. You're right.
And we have trust issues
Right.
when
But
it
what?
comes
Correct.
to
To that.
white people,
Correct.
law enforcement.
Yes. Yes.
We don't. What they do at the hospitals,
Mhm.
black women,
Right.
birth and everything. We have deep rooted trust issues.
Correct.
And that right there is one of them. But being that we are progressing, I'm more open to it.
Mhm.
And even my like you tell me this, and it's nothing that the lawyers and everybody else tell me. Like, you dealing with a lot. Like I tell you, my wife, like, you don't even talk about certain things or whatever,
Mhm.
whatever, because this is the way that I deal with trauma.
Right.
And what keeps
Listen
me,
to the words you just used. Whatever.
yeah. I mean,
That's the move on thing. Okay.
and it's not a good thing.
Exactly.
It's not a good thing.
Whenever I find myself saying yada yada yada, whatever, I'm catching I stop myself and say, okay, what are you just skipping over and why?
That's the
That's-
default in that
yes.
statement right there.
I heard it and I know what the hell I'm doing. Sometimes we do it so subconsciously we ain't even paying attention to it. So look, man, I say for your when I see your book, your book, all the things that you're doing, all of the stuff that I can go online and find out about all the things that you're doing, and I can see that there's a young man here who, and I'm still gonna call you a young man. You're younger than me. It's like I look at it and I say, he's got a lot to give. He's got a whole lot to give to society. And what could stop him? Himself.
I was just about to say it.
Himself. And people like to say, oh, you're stopping yourself because you don't want to do something. Well, if I don't have the tools to do it, then how the heck do you expect me to do it? It's just as a dumb statement, pull yourself up by the bootstrap, but I ain't got a damn boot. Or if I do have a boot, you keep cutting the strings.
Tell me about it.
How am I gonna pull myself up by the bootstrap when you keep cutting the damn strings?
One thing that I don't want to do, right? Because I may be unique in my own ways, but you go to prison and you learn a few things. You get to learning things that really blow your mind, like how many great inventors we have,
Correct.
African Americans. You
Correct.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I say that because we have a lot of greatness.
Mhm.
And I am associating it with me right now because this ambition that I have when moving forward,
Mhm.
it's a lot of other brothers in there like that.
Right.
Yep.
And
Brother-
if we can set up a system where we can start cultivating, imagine how it would have been while I was in there, and people were really, really concerned with cultivating my mission and making this happen. So when you step out here, brother,
Mhm.
your family, we got one more family that's
Right.
gonna have something, because every family, at least we need one house, and the basic family structure, the mother, the kids, the father, everything, we need at least one house, some type of generational wealth to build off, right? So when we have brothers who are still sharp and on top of their game and don't want this no more,
Mhm.
whether young, don't make a difference. Those are the type of folks that we really, really have to step in and make sure we develop to a point of success, because
Mhm.
what they can do for everybody else, the others coming behind.
No need for me to say anything else. I'll give him the last words, my
Right
man.
there.
Oh man, Gaylord Salters. And I gotta tell you, by the way, I see you spell your name as an acronym with an acronym. What does it stand for?
LORD, life of a resilient dude.
Nice.
Who am I to question this?
That's real.
On that note, my man, your book is not out yet, is it?
Yes, out right now.
Where can they get it?
You go to gogetitpublishing.com.
Mhm.
You can go to gogettersanonymous.com and get merchandise. One thing though that I always say, like you see my websites, and these websites been up since I've been in prison.
Yeah.
And being that I was doing some good things, people started scamming and using my names, fake websites and everything.
Oh.
So a lot of that goes on. But I'm mentioning that because the reason why the people were able to get away with it is because they heard my story. When you look online, Facebook, you see my story, how it was wrong. You see the 5-minute documentary that I produced.
Which,
while
by
I
the
was
way, is
in.
really nice, man.
Mm.
I saw that documentary and I was like, wow.
So while I'm in prison, I
Right.
produced that. But I'm saying this because this is the truth. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have too much pride to accept help.
Well, there you
Like
go.
from a GoFundMe or something like that. I don't have too much pride.
And you should.
But my main thing is that I try to do my best for myself. So I say that to say this. I'm still building my legal team, still fighting my case.
Mm.
I don't ask for donations, but if you choose to help me, any purchase helps. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? You go get it published and buy books. Go to gogettersanonymous.com, buy merchandise. That's how you help me. I like to put the work in and then feel that gratification that you get
Mhm.
after having put the work in. You
That's
know
what's
what I'm
up.
saying?
Give this brother mad props. Give this man, you're doing your thing.
Definitely.
Shout outs to the family. They're here right next to him, supporting him 100%. There you go. All right, man. Listen, we got to cut this one right now, but I got to tell you, I want to have you back, man.
All right.
All right? I want to have you back because you have a lot to bring. A whole lot. I'm here to support that. All right?
Yes, indeed.
Got to let you guys know, my man, Gaylord Salters, better respect that. Put the L on the name. I got to let you know. All right, good people. I'll talk with you. Keep it ugly.
All right.